What's going on, guys? Today I am back with another hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find out all the information on how to go about sending those in. But anyways, here I have a match. I have Alt with no name here at the bottom, who is on Hat, versus V-Star, who is on Firefist Traptrix. So this should be a pretty cool, grindy game, I would assume. So let's get straight into it. Here we see the alt with no name starting this one out. Opening hands, we see Torrential, Pot of Duality, Traptrix, Dionea, Ice Hand, and another Dionea. Very unfortunate to see double Dionea, but, we do have the Duality, the Torrential, and, Ice Hand, given that the opponent has a lot of back row. Here, V-Star has Tenki, Max C, Soul Charge, Upstart, and Compulse. So Tenki is going to be very crucial here. And, having Max C in case things go down is pretty solid too, and a little bit of back row. So let's see how this one goes. Alt here will draw a copy of Fire Hand for turn. Okay, pretty solid. They set the Fire Hand and pass. Okay, so being lenient with the duality, that could usually mean a couple different things. One, I don't know if they know the matchup of what they're actually going against, so maybe just setting the Fire Hand was the right play to have the opponent kind of play into it a little bit, thinking that maybe this is just nothing. But also, if they're playing a lot of hands, say, 3 and 3, rather than a smaller package of hands like 2 and 2, they might just be wanting to kind of deck thin a little bit with the hands before actually using the duality and make the opponent use extra resources to out the hands before, fully committing to that. Here we see V-Star draw a copy of Traptrix Trapple Nightmare for turn. They are going to upstart getting a Lance. Then here they go Tenki for Bear. Summon the Bear, set the Lance and Compulse and the Traptrix Trapple Nightmare and pass it over. So not falling for the set here. If anything, the copy of Compulse will be able to just out this. Though having an extra hand means they can, easily clear through a lot of this since there's nothing to really negate that. Though if they start crashing, the Bear will be able to trigger in most cases here. Drawing a Soul Charge for turn, flipping the Fire Hand, summoning a Dionea, the Max C is chained. Overlaying both for a copy of Ragna Zero, so not afraid of back row or just trying to, play through some of that back row before going in with other cards, as I mentioned before. Ragna Zero also has the ability to, during either player's turn, detach a material and target an attack position monster the opponent controls whose attack is different from the original attack, destroy it and draw a card. So it's a way to out the bear, given that the Tenki's giving it a 100 attack boost and also draw a card. Though I could definitely see that getting met with the copy of Traptrix Trapple Nightmare that V-Star here has. Here they draw a copy of Warning off the Max C. They go to battle phase, trying to probably, if they're going to battle and not using this right away, they might just be trying to see if they had something like a D-Prison. Ragna Zero is chained to the attack, and here it does get met with that Traptrix Trapple Nightmare. Here, Torrential gets set in main phase 2 and back to V-Star, who gets a copy of Upstart Goblin, activating it, and finding a copy of Gorilla, very strong, summoning the Gorilla, which will force the Torrential. Here, they lance the Bear, so the Bear will drop back down to 800. It becomes unaffected by the Tenki, and then the 800 is lost there. So they will be able to attack and use the effect to set a Tenki, which in main phase 2, they're just going to activate to add a Wolfbark, set the warning, and pass it over. Here, Alt gets another copy of Ice Hand. A little bit unfortunate, but it will, potentially help them play through some back row, though this warning will probably do something. Here, summoning Dionea, which can then summon back the other Dionea. And they're going to overlay both for Exciton. That gets met with the warning. We could see the Soul Charge, which we do, summoning back double Dionea and the Fire Hand. Little bit of life points there. They're going to go for Black Ship, really trying to out this bear. It's survived a lot of different interruptions at this point. And Compulse is activated, bouncing back the Black Ship, so, the bear will stick around again. Here, V-Star gets a copy of Skullmeister, which is really good against the hands, since this can counter the hands. Here they're thinking, and they go summon Wolfbark, use the effect to bring back the tiger, or the gorilla, overlaying both for a copy of Evagishki Marrowgeist. I really like this card. What it does is after damage calculation, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, detach a material from this card and shuffle the destroyed monster into the deck instead of sending it to the graveyard. So it kind of is unfortunate that you give your opponent back their hands, their resources, but at the same time it does out it and it prevents them from doing, what Alt did here, which was like soul charging back the hand. So pretty cool to see that come in here. They're going to attack, use the effect and shuffle it back, and then swing in with the bear, which can set another fire formation. Going for the third Tenki here, main phase 2 activating to add a bear. And yeah, the bear's getting real beefy with the 3 Tenkis activated. Here, Alt gets a copy of Beagle Tack, summons Ice Hand, attacks in. They say it's good. They use the effect to try to pop this Tenki as well as the bear activating. They allow it through and summon the Fire Hand and then set a Tensu. They attack in with the Fire Hand, and let's see, they're going to use it to pop the Marrowgeist, which they allow. Here, summoning the Ice Hand, attacking in. How many hands is that so far? They are on 3 Ice Hand, which it was be presumable that they are playing 3 Fire Hand as well at that point. So attacking in, trying to pop the Tensu, but that will meet the Skullmeister, so that's going to stop the whole line of hands coming down. And that is enough to force a game number 2. So moving on to game number 2, Alt will begin this one. Opening hands, we see Sanctum, Scythe, Ice Hand, Call the Haunted, and Traptrix, Trap Hole Nightmare. So again, seeing the Ice Hand is decent, especially since we saw so much back row from V-Star here, and seeing the Sanctum and Call the Haunted is always nice as well. V-Star opens Breakthrough Skill, Compulse, Mind Control, Torrential, and Lance, so not really seeing a way into their engine. Here, Alt gets a copy of Duality, which is very good, showing Debunk, Sanctum, and Dionea, taking the Debunk and putting the rest back. From here, they set the Ice Hand, and I would assume a lot of back row. Everything. Here, V-Star gets a copy of Traptrix, Trap Hole Nightmare of their own. Setting 4 back row, keeping the Lance and Mind Control in hand. Makes sense. They don't have any monsters, so no reason to play into something and potentially lose that when they might actually need it later on. Alt gets a copy of Fire Hand, flips the Ice Hand, and goes to battle phase. Attacks in. Back to V-Star, who sees a Mermail. Very good here. Gets the Mermail, adding Bottomless. Goes Mind Control. The Sanctum is chained, though. So Moral Attack is summoned here. But that is met with the Traptrix, Trap Hole Nightmare to negate and destroy that. Did they have anything to that? They did not. Okay. But I mean, I guess this Call the Haunted could put in a little work here on the res, which it will. Here they choose to, they went to use the effect, but that will be met with the Breakthrough Skill, very strong. Here a Black Ship is made, which can be used to get rid of the Moral Attack, but, Alt has their own copy of Traptrix, Trap Hole Nightmare, so they end up just setting the Bottomless and passing it back over. Here Alt gets a copy of Double Cyclone, which is really good since they had that Scythe that they had drawn in their opening hand. They go to battle phase and push in for damage. Setting the Double Cyclone, V-Star gets a copy of Meister, passing it over. Alt gets a copy of Moral Attack and goes to battle phase. Attacking in for more damage. V-Star's getting very low on life. They draw a MST for turn, which, yeah, they summon the Skullmeister. They go to battle phase. They say it's good. Damage step, the Lance comes in. Sets the MST and passes. Alt gets another Ice Hand. Sets it, passes. V-Star gets another MST. Attacks in. Ice Hand is activated. Popping the MST, which is... this is all damage step, so... Yeah, no, they actually can't chain the MST there. The Fire Hand is summoned. And... they set their other MST in main phase 2. Then in the end phase, they go Double Cyclone, popping the MST and the Moral Attack. The Moral Attack summons itself back, popping the Skullmeister, but Torrential is chained. Back to Alt, who gets a copy of Dionea, who they can summon and just swing in. Here, V-Star gets a copy of Mermail, just sets it and passes. Alt gets a copy of Mermail of their own, adding their own bottomless. And here they go battle phase, attacking, but the Compulse is chained, so it returns the Dionea. Mermail attacks in, does get over the other Mermail. Main phase 2, set the bottomless, pass. Here, V-Star gets a Dionea, which is very strong, which they can activate, bringing back their Mermail effect to pop a back row. That's gonna hit the bottomless, which, these are unaffected by trap hole normals. So then they're gonna go just straight to battle, attack over the Mermail. Main phase 2. They're talking a little, and it looks like Alt takes that one. Going into game number 3, V-Star will be able to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Ice Hand, Bottomless, Sanctum, Soul Charge, and Debunk. V-Star sees Mermail, Debunk, Compulse, Warning, and Tensu. So, pretty solid hands overall from both, I'd say. Drawing a copy of Mind Control. Here they go summon Mermail, add Bottomless. Set the 4 traps and pass. Alt gets a copy of Call the Haunted, sets the, Ice Hand. Sets the 4 traps as well and passes it over. V-Star gets a Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. They think for a bit, go to battle phase, attack. The defense is equal on the attack of the Mermail, so they go main phase 2, set the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, and pass. Alt gets a copy of Dionea, which they summon. V-Star's thinking, and they go to battle phase just to run over the Mermail. Here, V-Star gets a copy of Bear for turn. That's very good. They can summon it, that gets met with Bottomless, but V-Star's going to chain the Compulse to bounce the Bear back to hand. Goes Tensu to resummon the Bear. They go to attack over the Ice Hand, which is interesting, but that gets met with the Debunk, so that will be negated and banished. And they're going to main phase 2 use the effect of Bear to send the Tensu to pop the Dionea, which does resolve. In the end phase, Alt is going to activate the Sanctum to summon Moraltac, use the effect, and that gets met with the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, but in end phase still the Call the Haunted can bring back the Moraltac, but that gets met with the Warning. So very simplified game state now. Alt draws a copy of Moraltac, but they can use the Soul Charge. How many do they have in grave? Oh, okay, so that's kind of cool, because if they bring back the Moraltac and Dionea, they can then use the Dionea effect, reset the Bottomless here, tribute summon over the Dionea if they wanted to, and then make a rank 5, which is an option, or they could just play it safe. I forget, did they use... No, they used the Torrential the last game, so there is that possibility. So, yep, doing that play. The Bottomless is activated, though, that will banish the Moraltac. Obviously, again, the Dionea is unaffected. They just pass it over there. V-Star gets a copy of Duality, which is very good. Here they see, Upstart, Meister, and Deep Dark Trap Hole. They take the Meister, normal Meister, that gets met with Bottomless. They go Mind Control, taking the Dionea, and swing in for some damage. They then can use the Bear effect to set a Tenki. Not looking good for Alt here. Main phase 2, getting a copy of Wolfbark, then overlaying their 2 monsters for Dweller, passing it over to Alt, who gets a Beagle Tack, sets both, back to V-Star, who gets a Tenki off the top. That's really good. Using the Dweller here and going to battle phase, attacking in. Main phase 2, using Tenki to add Gorilla. Are they gonna... Oh, they summon the Gorilla, use the effect sending a Tenki to pop a back row, which they hit the Beagle Tack. They can't use it because of the Dweller. That's very unfortunate here. Because if anything, that would have been so lucky, because then they could, summon back the Moraltac by using this to pop it, and then, pop a card here, but the Dweller did check that. Here, Alt does find a copy of Ignition, which is pretty solid. And it looks like Alt just scoops it up there. Unfortunately, yeah, the Dweller put in so much work there. Did they have any more artifacts, I wonder? They had the 1 Moraltac here, the 1 Beagle Tack, and a Moraltac set, so maybe, usually a lot of the Hat decks are on 3 moral tax, so they may have been able to get 1 more, but even then, I think having the Wolf Bark as follow-up, V-Star was just in a very solid position here. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it. Comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out. Share this video with your friends. And don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.